What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Detroit Lions video. Now, the other day we made a video talking about the 10 reasons the Detroit Lions defense will be better in the 2020 season. And while I will 100% agree with everybody that says this, the defense was the problem last year. The offense was the best part of the team. They really carried the team to, what little success they had, and they were the strong suit of the team. And that is 100% correct. However, just because they were the strong suit doesn't mean that they don't have things to improve on. So today we're going to be doing the offensive side of the ball and talking about the 10 reasons the Detroit Lions defense or the Detroit Lions offense will be better in the 2020 season. So before we do get into it, if you are new to the channel and are enjoying the content, consider liking the videos and subscribing to the channel. It takes 2 seconds I'd ready to make mine, and I would be very, very appreciative to everybody that chooses to do so. But with that being said, let's get into talking about the 10 reasons the Detroit Lions offense will be better in the 2020 season. The first reason kind of overlays with the defensive video from a couple days ago, and that is health. Now, I've made several videos on this. I've commented countless times on this, but the Detroit Lions only had 15 players last year in the entire roster play in every single game, and only one of those players only one starter on the offensive side of the ball played in all 16 games, and that player was Kenny Golladay. And the odds of that happening again, the odds of us being down to our third string quarterback, like our sixth string running back, second and third and fourth string wide receivers, I mean, it's just not going to happen. There's no way the Detroit Lions are as devastated by injuries as they have been, as they were last year. And just being a healthier team, having all of your starters on the field competing for you is going to help your team be successful. Obviously, that's why they're the starters and not the backups. It's because they are the better players, and if you have those better players, you're gonna have more success in the future. Obviously, you're gonna have more success that season if all of your starters are healthy, and the Detroit Lions will have better health next year. Just the odds that all these players get hurt again are very, very small, and they just have to be healthier because there's almost no way they can be worse. So that is the kind of the only one that overlaps. So I want to get out of the way first so we can get into some fresh stuff now. So the second reason that I believe the Detroit Lions offense will be better in 2020 is because it is the second year under Darrell Bevell. Now, last offseason, the Detroit Lions brought in a offensive coordinator by the name of Darrell Bevell, trying to get this running game going, and, unfortunately that didn't work because of the injuries that I previously mentioned. But he did show us a lot of good things. He showed us a lot of creative play calling. He was more aggressive than Jim Bob Cooter was in the past. He was throwing a lot more deep shots. He was giving Matthew Stafford and the wide receivers a lot more opportunity to make plays, which is something that I think Matthew Stafford strived with. I think he, was much better last year because he was able to take more deep shots, because he was able to uncork it a little bit more, and the wide receivers show that they can make the plays downfield to make that kind of play style worthwhile. And I just think a second year under Darrell Bevell, obviously they had a full offseason. This year they don't get a full offseason, but they still have time to pick his brain a little bit, see what he likes to do. He has time to pick the players' brains and see what the players like to do and how to put the players in the best position. And I think year 2 they're going to take another big step forward. Everybody's going to be more familiar with Darrell Bevell. Darrell Bevell is going to be more familiar with all of his players. He's going to put them in better positions next year to succeed, and especially looking at the tight end group, which I'll get into a little bit later. But especially looking at those guys, he's going to put them in better positions to make plays and to be, to give them a bigger impact on the field. That is the second reason I think the Detroit Lions offense will be better. The third reason is just the commitment to the running game. Now, Matthew Stafford has had to be this team's MVP. He's had to be their engine. He's basically had to carry this team on his back for over a decade at this point, and that hasn't worked. Matthew Stafford is a very good quarterback, but he is not able to do this all by himself. And when Bob Quinn took over as the general manager in the 2016 offseason, he made a commitment to the run game, and that is starting to show a little bit more in these last couple of years. Especially this past offseason, they signed Big V, who's a run blocking tackle. They drafted 2 guards in the 3rd and 4th round in Logan Stenberg and Jonah Jackson, and of course they drafted rookie running back DeAndre Swift in the 2nd round out of Georgia to pair him with Kerryon Johnson, who was another 2nd round selection only a few years ago. So I think the commitment to the run game takes some stuff off Stafford's shoulders, makes us a more complete team, as lets us be able to run the clock and open up the playbook a little bit more as far as play action and deep shots and stuff. And I think the commitment to the run game is not only going to help Stafford out, but it's just going to help the team in general to be a more balanced team. And balanced teams tend to do better in the NFL than strictly air raid or strictly running the ball. More balance and a commitment to the run game is going to help the Detroit Lions offense be much, much better in the 2020 season. Moving on to reason number 4. We have so many weapons on this team. I mean, I'm going to list all of these guys off, and these are all guys that are competing for roles on the team. These are all guys that can realistically make the roster and be a weapon for Matthew Stafford. So we got Kenny Galladay, Marvin Jones, Danny Amendola, Marvin Hall, Geronimo Allison, Quintez Cephas, Jamal Agnew, TJ Hawkinson, Jesse James, Hunter Bryant, Isaac Nauta, Kerryon Johnson, DeAndre Swift, Bo Scarborough, and Jason Huntley. That is so many weapons. I mean, you give Matthew Stafford all these guys, and he's going to do something with it. I mean, the 2 running backs and DeAndre Swift and Jason Huntley are rookies. They're great additions to the team. They're going to add so much to this offense. We have so much depth at wide receiver, and all these guys are very good wide receivers. All these guys are going to compete for playing time, and they're going to compete for roles on this team. And, I mean, we have so many weapons on this team. We added so many more this past offseason that, there's no way that they don't. Even if not everybody pans out, we have so many weapons that, you don't have a guy that you can double and then feel comfortable with. Because if you double Kenny, Marvin Jones can make a play. If you double Marvin Jones, Kenny can make a play. Those 2 guys can both make plays on one-on-one coverage. TJ Hawkinson is a second-year tight end. He's going to take a huge step forward, in my opinion. He can win one-on-ones. Danny Amendola had one of his most efficient seasons last year. He's going to win one-on-one in the slot. I mean, there are so many weapons for Matthew Stafford to work with this year, and, there's just no way that this passing offense is any worse than, top 10 in the NFL. Moving on to number 5, we kind of talked about it a little bit just a second ago with TJ Hawkinson, but the tight end play was going to be much, much better. Historically, highly drafted tight ends take off in the second year. They have, a big sophomore breakout season, and, that's really where their career starts. They have a kind of a down rookie season, and, in the second season, tight ends just tend to take off for some reason. Happened with Gronk, happened with Tony Gonzalez, it happens with the best of the tight ends. And TJ Hawkinson is no exception. We kind of talked about how Darrell Bevell was going to get the tight ends more involved, but TJ Hawkinson in this offseason has been building up. He's bulking up a lot. He's building a lot of muscle. He's putting out things every day on his Instagram and social media, showing him catching passes and, working out and lifting weights. And he looks a lot better going into his sophomore season. And I think that he's going to take a huge step forward next season and prove, to everybody that doesn't like the selection of him at number 8, he's going to prove to them why he was worthy of that number 8 pick. Moving on to the 6th spot. The depth is much better on this team. I mentioned all the weapons that Matthew Stafford has, but we brought in Chase Daniels to be the backup quarterback who has proven he can win some NFL games. He's been a career backup, but he beat the Lions on Thanksgiving. He's started several games for the Chicago Bears in the past couple of years, and he's shown that he is a very capable backup, and he's going to be much better than what we had in Jeff Driscoll, we had in David Blau. And so if Matthew Stafford does get hurt, it's not as big of a loss. Obviously, it is a huge loss still, but it's not going, the level of play isn't going to diminish quite as much as when we went from Matthew Stafford to Jeff Driscoll. Moving on to the 7th reason the offense will be better next year. A lot of the offensive players and a lot of the key offensive guys are in contract seasons. Guys like Kenny Galladay, Marvin Jones, Danny Amendola, and Taylor Decker are all on contract years. Guys like Marvin Hall. I'm pretty sure every single wide receiver is on a contract year, so all of them are going to be trying to making plays. Taylor Decker's on a contract year trying to get an extension with the Detroit Lions. I mean, all these offensive guys are in contract years, and generally if you're on a contract year, you're trying to get that big extension, make a lot of money, and secure yourself on the team for a long time. You're going to play at your best level. You're going to do everything in your power. Not that you haven't been previous years, but it just feels like in contract years, people, players take that extra step forward. They put in that extra gear to try to ensure that next contract. And with all these players being on their contract year and they're all going to be trying to do that, these wide receivers are going to be scary and they're going to be trying to making as many plays as possible. That's just going to help out the offense so much more. Now, moving on to the 8th reason. The Detroit Lions made an emphasis the last couple of years to add big play threats. That's kind of the formula around the NFL right now. Get big play threats, guys that can score in one play, guys that can get you a touchdown within 10 seconds of being on the field. You get a one play touchdown and you get to go sit back on the bench and you just you get a quick score and it's great. the Detroit Lions have made an emphasis to get some of those guys. They got Marvin Hall last year, who led the NFL in yards per reception, and they drafted Jason Huntley in the 5th round, who is a big home run hit from New Mexico State. I mean, this guy, any carry, he is at risk of breaking off a huge run, 50, 60, 70, 80 yards, and, take it to the house for a touchdown. Because as soon as he gets in open space, he's quick, he's twitchy. He's elusive, and if he gets around one guy, if he gets in open space, he's going to beat his guy one-on-one and take it 80 yards to the house and get us big plays. And then, obviously, as I said, Marvin Hall led the NFL in yards per reception next year. So the addition of these big play threats is going to open up the offense just as much as the improved run game, and it's going to help the offense out immensely. Now, the 9th reason is that a lot of these starters are, the guys from last year. A lot of the skill position guys, Carrion's coming back, Gallup is coming back, Marvin Jones is coming back, Marvin Hall is coming back, Danny Amendola is coming back, Hawkinson and Jesse James are both coming back. I mean, all these weapons are the same for Matthew Stafford. He has the same guys that he worked with last offseason, which I think is going to be a big help in this world with a global pandemic where they're only going to have 2 preseason games at the most. They're not going to have a full offseason, so that familiarity with your weapons, the familiarity with your wide receivers, has to be there. And Matthew Stafford and the Detroit Lions are going to have a little bit of a jump because they're bringing back so many familiar weapons. The Broncos revamped their whole wide receiving core. The Raiders and the Jets both did it. All these teams, they went out and got big name wide receivers, because they're big names. It might start off kind of slow because the wide receiver didn't have an offseason to build chemistry with his quarterback, where Matthew Stafford, Kenny Galladay, Marvin Jones, Marvin Hall, Danny Amendola, Hawkinson, all these guys have built chemistry up over the last offseason and the previous season, so they're going to start off much hotter than a lot of other quarterback and receiving receivers. And then the last reason that the Detroit Lions offense is going to be better next year is because we don't play a lot of great defenses. Now, obviously, we play Chicago and Minnesota twice a year, who last year statistically were very, very good defenses. But outside of that, we don't play a ton of people. I mean, we play Green Bay twice, who had the 12th scoring defense. We play Arizona in week 3, who had the 28th scoring defense. We play New Orleans, who had the 14th. We play Jacksonville, who had the 21st scoring defense. Atlanta, who had the 22nd. The Colts, who had the 18th scoring defense. The Redskins, who had the 27th. Carolina, who had the 31st. Houston, who had the 23rd, and Tampa Bay, who had the 29th scoring defense. So a lot of our matchups outside of the division, people don't rank higher than 14. I mean, the Matthew Stafford is a great quarterback. This receiving core is elite. It's one of the best in the NFL. A running game should be much, much better, and we're not playing that good of a scoring defense. A lot of the defenses we played this year are giving up a ton of points, or at least they did last year, and obviously we're just looking at it on paper, but, generally if you give up a lot of points, and, none of these teams really went out and got huge defensive additions outside the Panthers, but they're all rookies. I mean, they're not going to be that much better next year. So we're going to be able to score a lot of points because the defenses we're playing aren't going to, improve that much. And we're going to be able to put up more points this season because we don't play a lot of good defenses. So that is my 10 reasons I think the Detroit Lions will have a better offense in the 2020 season. As I said last year, the offense was obviously the strength of the team, but you can always get better no matter what you do. If you break records one year, the next year your goal is to go in and break them again, reset the bar. So, even though the offense was the strength of the team last year, they can still improve, and I think that they will improve based on these reasons. If I missed something down in the comment, if I missed something, let me know down in the comments below. But with that being said, that is all I have for you guys today. If there is Lions before tomorrow, I will obviously make a video letting every single person know. But until then, that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you all so very much for watching this video. As I said, if I missed any reasons, let me know down in the comments below. But with that being said, that is all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see all of you in the video tomorrow. Bye, guys.